Hey everyone, welcome back to the Hunting Rifle Build Series. We are here today at Magnum Shooting Center with a great group of hunters. Each hunter here has brought their own personal rifle setup, the gear that they trust and take into the field, and we will be comparing those side by side with several new Bergara rifles that we have built specifically for this series. We'll get real feedback from a wide range of hunters with different experience levels, different styles of hunting, and find out what they like and what they would change and which rifle they would actually choose to take on their next hunt. Our goal is simple: to help you build the best hunting rifle possible for your needs and your budget. Whether you're putting together your first rifle or looking to upgrade, we want to give you the honest, hands-on information that you need to make the right decision. All right, let's head inside where I will introduce you to our hunters and we can get these rifles on the bench and see how they perform.
Hi, my name is Noah Botkin. I own a financial planning firm here in town in Colorado Springs. As far as hunting background, I've been hunting for about 24 years. Started hunting when I entered college. A good buddy of mine got me into it. Mostly archery, but I do a little rifle hunting probably about every 3 to 4 years. How often do I shoot my rifle? Probably once a year, if I'm going to hunt that year. And that's it, just to sight it in and take it out into the field. How would I rate my skills as a marksman? I would say entry level at best. The rifle I'm using right now, I bought this Ruger M77. It's a 7mm Remington Magnum. Bought that back in, 2000, 2001. So 23, 24 years. Been using that rifle. I've taken pronghorn with it and whitetail.
Hi, my name is Brendan Miles. I'm 17 years old, student at Palm Ridge High School. Been hunting for like 4 or 5 years. Shoot my rifle maybe 3 times a year. The animals I've harvested, an elk, cow, and that's it. I would not rate my marksman skills very high. Lucky to hit the blind side of a barn.
My name is Shay Miles. I'm 51 years old. I am an engineer, a contractor, and a land developer. I've been hunting off and on for 20 years, and when I moved to Colorado, started hunting elk, and was using a 300 Weatherby Magnum and used that for a number of years. I have harvested a bull 3 years ago with that rifle. I would rate my skills as a marksman as entry level. I shoot long range probably 2 or 3 times a year.
Hi, my name is Joe White. I'm 50 years old. I'm a mechanical engineer. As far as hunting background, I started hunting when I was 12. I would classify myself as the average hunter probably. I only basically sight my rifle in during the year and then I take it hunting. I would say my average shot distance is probably under 100 yards, so I don't shoot far ever. I bought this rifle when I was 14 years old. It's a 30-06 Remington bolt action normal Michigan rifle. This rifle and I have had a lot of interesting experiences. When I was in high school, our house was broken into and all of our rifles and shotguns and everything were stolen. A couple years later, we got a call from the police in our town, and they said that they'd found our rifle. Some kids were using it to shoot at people, actually, which is very scary, but luckily I don't think anybody was injured. I've been using that rifle for over 30 years, so it's been my constant companion. Lots of whitetails, brought it out to Colorado, mule deer, elk. It's been a great rifle for me.
My name is Daniel Russell. I am a teacher at Palm Ridge High School. I'm 36 years old. I'm pretty new to hunting. Just picked up bow hunting this last year, and then just getting into rifle hunting.
My name's Rich Tidd. I'm 51 years old. Work for Hawkins Precision, operations manager and engineer there. Hunting background, I've been hunting, well, since I was 12 years old, so for 40 years. I compete in rifle matches, so I shoot pretty much every month, every week. I would rate my skills as a marksman as above average. I'm the pro, but yeah, I do shoot a lot with rifle competitions.
Okay, this is my old 30-06 Remington with my Bushnell 3-9 power scope on it. And then this is the Bergara 7 PRC with the Arkin scope on it.
All right, this is my original hunting rifle. Owned it for about 23, 24 years. This is a Ruger M77 7mm Remington Magnum with an Arkin optic on it. Just put it on this past year. Before that, it had an old Leopold, I think it was a VX2 or VX3 on it, which I loved, but very little technology on it. This is my brand new Bergara MG Lite in a 6.5 PRC. And we've got a Vortex Razor HD on it, the LHT. So I'm excited to shoot it. I haven't shot it yet. Had it for a couple months and just haven't gotten out. So today will be a good day to test it.
Bergara Crest 6.5 PRC with a Burris Veracity PH scope on it, so it's gonna be fun. So this is a Savage 30-06 Hunter with an Arkin scope on it.
This is my new 6.5 PRC. It's a Bergara Ridge. It's a very smooth rifle, not too heavy, trigger, really nice trigger pull. And then this one, same with the Arkin scope. It is a 300 Weatherby. Not as smooth, a little bit heavier, but a lot bigger caliber.
This is my original 30-06.
What are you feeling?
It's different because it has almost like a little step in it. Very smooth. Trigger is like nothing compared to that one.
Noah's never felt that rifle before. Trigger squeeze. All right, all right. Feels like a rifle.
Feels like a rifle. It's just smoother. Lighter trigger squeeze for sure.
Things are like butter. It's really nice. I love the light trigger.
Very smooth. Wow.
What's the difference?
This one's a lot smoother than this one. All around trigger pull and the dragging it are a lot smoother.
It's like the weight. It's like butter.
General thoughts?
I like the weight on this one. This one's smooth all the way through.
And you like the heavy feel?
Yeah.
Even if you don't shoot it, just looks so cool. I don't know how you can. It's going to be really nice to shoot.
What's
It feels really good. It's light. The bolt is just really smooth. The trigger will take a little bit getting used to because it's so light. There's no slop in that trigger before you just have before it's ready to fire. It's just solid from the time you put your finger on it to the time you squeeze. Just really, really light. Just feel like you're in control the whole time. So it just feels like a great gun. I'm excited to shoot this.
What's important is practice like you're going to hunt. You're not going to carry a lead sled out on a hunting. So if you're shooting groups and want to see how the rifle shoots before you take it on a hunt, shoot it the way you plan on hunting with it. You know, whether that's off a bag or off a bipod with a rear support. So practice that. You know, those groups are most important when you're out in the field. Knowing what that rifle's able to do, whether it's shooting sub MOA or even a 3-inch group, you know what it's capable of so you can know what type of range you can shoot an animal at. When I get behind a rifle, I like to square up. I don't like to be off in an angle like this. And that's more for managing recoil when that rifle kicks, being able to see what it does. So I like to get right directly behind it and kind of square up to it. I keep this buttstock real close into here. That way on a heavy recoiling rifle, it's not kicking you off to the side, and it drives that rifle directly back, and you're able to spot your impacts down range and make a good follow-up shot if you need to. If I was down here on a rifle this way, see how my body's angled or straight behind the rifle? So that's how I shoot right there, is try to keep that body straight in line with the rifle so it's not kicking off to one side. The other good thing to practice is what we call a natural point of aim. So when you get behind a rifle, whether it's on a bag or a bipod in your rear support, and you get it on that 0 and you think you're ready to take a shot, just close your eyes, relax, count to 3, open your eyes back up, and if your reticle's still on that bullseye, then that's a good natural point of aim. If you're like trying to fight that rifle and get it on that 0 before you pull the trigger, it's probably not going to hit there when you actually do pull the trigger. The other thing doesn't hurt. These rifles are made for them. You know, get behind and just take some dry fires. You know, watch, see what that reticle does when you're shooting. See if it's bouncing off to the left or right. If it is, then take your time and get a nice, good, stable rest. That works for shooting indoors on the bench, but if you're on an animal, it doesn't hurt to take a couple dry fires if you have the time. Say you're set up prone, just take a couple dry fire shots, get those jitters and the nerves out before you pull the trigger. So you owe it to the animal. I shoot 5-shot groups because that gives me a good average of what the rifle's doing over 5 shots. And if it starts to heat up, I can kind of tell what it's doing there too. You got a lighter pencil or a metal barrel or a little light contour. As they heat up, they might start to walk on you. Your point of impacts might just shift. So it's nice to know what that's doing. So, but I rarely, unless it's a big heavy steel competition barrel, I won't shoot over a 5-shot string on a hunting rifle. I'll shoot 5 shots and then I'll let it cool down a little bit before I shoot another 5-shot group.
It's a violent little Creedmoor, isn't it?
It is.
Isn't that dirty?
That scope is
Special.
it's been a while since I looked through a scope like that. The reticle is bigger than
That Ruger.
That's what an amateur looks like.
Is that 5? So I had big plans for today. We had 2 hours of exclusive access at the Magnum Shooting Center 100-yard range right here in Colorado Springs. I brought Rich in from Hawkins Precision to help go over some fundamentals for our shooters today, but also to help us problem solve and be somewhat of a controller. The original plan was to allow each of the shooters to test their current hunting rigs against one of these new Bergara rifles. Then we were going to have Rich shoot each of the Bergara rifles to try to give us a more accurate picture of what these rifles are actually capable of with a more experienced shooter. Well, as it turns out, 2 hours wasn't near enough time. I wanted each of the hunters to have the opportunity to shoot the other rifles so that they could do a side-by-side comparison. I brought several other hunting rifles that never even made it out of the case. I know Rich even brought his full custom rifle that you may have caught a glimpse of earlier, but he never even got to shoot it. instead of a nice, calm environment for us to collect quality group sizes, we got a little rushed, barrels got a little hot, heart rates got elevated, so maybe the situation at the range actually resembled hunting more than just a casual day of shooting. Now, I am disappointed that we didn't get everything I was hoping to capture, but each of the hunters were able to get a 5-shot group downrange with their current rifles as well as with the new Bergara rifles that we bought specifically for this rifle build series. So let's see how this team of everyday hunters that love to hunt but don't necessarily spend a lot of time behind their rifles each year, let's see how they performed on paper. These are the cold hard facts. And as you'll see, we didn't do any doctoring to make these groups any smaller. Starting in Bay 1, we had Joe White, who shot a 3.85 inch group with his trusty Remington 700 and followed that up with a 3.33 inch group with the new Bergara Wilderness Ridge in 7 PRC. Now, just a few months ago, I mounted the scope on this rifle and did the barrel break-in process that Bergara recommends, and I shot a .708 group with the exact same ammunition. So, is the rifle capable of more? Certainly. But one thing we discussed afterward is that we should have had all the shooters start with the Bergara rifles, as they all manage recoil significantly better than their current hunting rifles. So by the time they started shooting the Bergara rifles, they may have started flinching and slapping at the trigger, anticipating the recoil. Joe sent me a photo after getting home, pointing out the bruise that he had from taking just a few shots with that old faithful 30-06. Now moving over to the second bay, Noah Botkin turned out a group size of 4.46 inches with his Ruger M77, and he followed that up with a 1.8 inch group out of the Bergara MG Lite. That's still nothing to brag about, but he did cut that group size in half, and he had 3 of his shots sub MOA. Still some work to be done, and we have to move that 0 to get him hitting in the red. Now in lane 3, we have our new hunter, the school teacher and track coach we like to call Professor Daniel Russell. Now, he shot some pretty solid groups, but said that he knew that he pulled the second shot in both groups, which really opened his overall group size. With the Savage 30-06, he shot a 2.36 inch group, and with the Bergara Squared Crest, he shot a 1.83 inch group that without that flyer would have easily been sub MOA. So well done, Professor Daniel, out shooting these veteran hunters. Now on to lane 4, we have the Miles family. Brendan kicked it off by shooting a 2.7 inch group with the 300 Weatherby and followed that up with a 1.975 inch group with that Wilderness Ridge rifle in a 6.5 PRC. Now Shay immediately followed that up with a 2 inch group on the Weatherby and almost an identical group out of the Bergara at 1.98 inches. Before the day started, I had set out with this goal in mind. The big question we're trying to answer today, does spending more actually get you a better, more accurate rifle, or can you build a killer setup without draining your bank account? Well, I cut that line out of the intro because we just didn't have time that we needed for these hunters to really get their hands on multiple rifles and look through all the glass. But what you may have noticed is Rich from Hawkins Precision fired just a few rounds out of a Savage Axis that I brought along as a test rifle to talk about whether you need an expensive rifle or a cheap rifle and how they perform. Now, this is honestly one of my least favorite rifles that I own to shoot. The action is really stiff, the trigger is awful, and for such a tiny cartridge, that thing packs a mean punch. But did you see what a $350 rifle scope package produced in the hands of a true marksman? Rich shot by far the tightest group of the day out of the least expensive rifle in the entire lot. Now ask Rich if he ever wants to shoot that rifle again, and I'm pretty sure he'll tell you that he's gonna opt to stick with his custom rifles. So is it the shooter or is it the rifle? You may have seen quite a few Arkin optics mounted on rifles in this video, and my buddy Josh, who helps lead the charge over there at Arkin, he will often tell you, you can spend $2,500 on a nice scope, or you can spend $400 on an Arkin and spend the rest on ammo and actually become a better shooter. And to that, I couldn't agree more. Now, I know we didn't get through everything I wanted to get done during this indoor range day, but that just means we have a lot more content coming in this series. If you missed some of the earlier stuff, I would encourage you to take a look at some of the past videos on this channel and subscribe so that you can see when we post new content for this rifle build series. Now let's head out to the parking lot and check in with our hunters as they give their final thoughts on the day.
Brought your old Ruger that you've had for quite a while.
Yep.
And the new Bergara. Give me a comparison between those two rifles. What was your shooting experience like?
It felt like I got hit with a baseball bat with the Ruger every time I shot, which wasn't a surprise. I remembered that. But the Bergara was much smoother, less recoil, and just a much smoother trigger. I just felt a lot more confident over it and with it.
How many rounds would you want to shoot out of your old Ruger? There's no muzzle brake on it.
10 max.
10 is a good max. How about the new 6.5 PRC and that MG Light? It's a light, so you're going to feel more recoil with a super lightweight rifle.
Yeah, I felt like I could shoot. It felt like a 22. I was telling you earlier. It felt like a little Tinker 22. I could shoot it all day long.
So if you're choosing between those two rifles,
Bergara all day long.
300 Weatherby versus the new Bergara 6.5 Ridge rifle and that PRC, feedback between those two rifles.
300 Weatherby kicks a lot harder. There's a lot more rifle under it. But there's also the trigger. Biggest difference I noticed from the 6.5 to the 300 was the trigger on the 300 was a lot stiffer and you pulled a lot farther. So I didn't feel as confident shooting it. The 6.5 is just light, not much kick especially with that muzzle brake on it, and the trigger is so smooth it shoots like a dream.
So if you had to pick between the Weatherby that you brought that has a nice Arkin optic, I mean, you're kind of similar scope on both, between the Weatherby and the Bergara, which one are you choosing?
Definitely the Bergara.
Bergara all day?
Definitely the Bergara.
Okay, Joe, you brought the rifle that you've had for 30 years. I don't know that it's fair to compare a 30-year-old rifle to a brand new rifle, but give me your comparison, because this is hunting rifles and this has been your faithful hunting companion for decades. How did that compare to the new Bergara?
There's no comparison. Never realized the punishment that I took, even from a 30-06. It's a very light rifle. It's a mountain rifle.
Yeah.
So it's very light. So it just kicks like a mule. I never realized that. And then my old Bushnell classic 3-9 scope, how hard it is to actually see the target at 100 yards compared to the Bergara with the 6-24, where it looks like I'm...
That Arkin scope gave you a little bit more clarity.
Yeah.
It's like going from no glasses to glasses.
Yes.
It's like, wait a second, I can actually
It's
see the
crazy.
target. So I have to ask, if you're choosing between the two rifles, which one are we going with?
I don't know if I'm ever going to shoot my old one again.
But you have such a good history with it.
I can put it up on a shelf and it's got lots of stories. But
It'll be framed next to some
There
pictures of some
you go.
whitetail. It's in the memory banks, but what are we using this year?
oh, for sure, the Bergara all day long.
The two rifles. You brought your trusted, true 300 Weatherby that you killed an elk with just 2 years ago. How did that compare today, shooting the Weatherby versus the Bergara?
The Bergara, I really like the way that it feels. It's a very smooth rifle. I have a lot of confidence. That round combo and the weight of that rifle feels really good. I think I shot better the last time when I first came in, sighted that rifle in. My groupings were a lot tighter. I think I was in a little bit of a hurry today.
We were hurrying today.
Yeah, I was in a little bit of a hurry. But I really like the quality of that rifle, and I hadn't really noticed, but when I was shooting my Weatherby after 5 rounds, the barrel was extremely hot.
Yeah.
Um,
It's a pencil barrel
it's
on
a
that
pencil
Weatherby.
barrel, yeah, and it's more of an
But
entry level rifle.
you just invested in that Weatherby and put a muzzle brake on.
I did.
That was the first time you shot it with the muzzle brake.
Right, so that's why the groupings were all high. However, they were tight.
Yeah.
They were a good grouping. I like, it's easier to shoot, I believe, just because of the weight of that. But I've got to get used to shooting that Bergara more. But I do have a lot of confidence with that rifle. Like I said, the first time I sighted that rifle in, I just felt really good, felt really tight. It's taking my time. So I just need to spend more time on it. But it's a high quality rifle and really like it.
I think we can say that all the shooters that competed today or did this challenge with us today need to spend a little more time behind their rifle.
I think that is kind of a common theme for sure. So next time when we do this, we'll come back in a year and then we'll see how we do.
All right, so comparing, if you're going to the woods tomorrow and you've got to bring either your 300 Weatherby or this Bergara, I mean, those are both fantastic rifles. They both have good optics. You got the same optic on both. What are you taking with you to the woods?
I still feel like my Weatherby, I need to take my horse to get my rifle out there because it's pretty heavy. But no, that Bergara feels great. I would take it in a heartbeat. Like I said, Brennan, the first time he shot that, he killed an elk at nearly 300 yards.
Yeah.
The round shoots great and flat, but the rifle is just high quality. You have a lot of confidence in it. I'd take it hunting any day. I would probably definitely lean towards Bergara now.
Yeah.
I'm sold.
All right, thanks for watching. Now that ending may have felt like a Bergara commercial, but that was some honest feedback from some of the local guys inside the HuntLeague app. I discovered the accuracy of Bergara rifles years ago and have had nothing but positive experiences. A few months back, I made a video featuring my son's CVA rifle that it's a Cascade XT, and it comes with a Bergara barrel, and that rifle has been absolutely unbelievable for us. It's exceeded every expectation, easily outshooting rifles that I own that cost 4 times that price point. So stay tuned as we gear up to head to Burris Optics private range, where we really test these hunters and the rifles as we stretch the distance out past 1,000 yards. Hopefully, we will have time to add a few more rifles and hunters to this mix. Let us know in the comments below what questions you may have or what you would like to see us test as we continue this series. I would love to have you subscribe to the HuntLeague channel, but if you are a hunter, more importantly, download the HuntLeague mobile app and join our growing community. Use the app to capture and share the story of your hunt and compete in leagues for titles and amazing, and I mean amazing, prize packages from companies like Vortex Optics, Bergara, Stag Arms, Hawkins Precision, Burris, Arkin Optics, Asiac Equipment, Argali. And don't think for a second that we forgot about our archery hunters. With the sweet September Archery Elk League, we have Spot Hog, Sever, Graxaw, Mountain Hunter, Coast, Hogue hunting knives. The app is free to download and leagues are free to join. We look forward to seeing you inside the HuntLeague community and the mobile app here very soon.